there is a degree of victimhood that has now, it's taken on such status, it's taken on such prestige, it confers such privilege, that you now have candidates for political office not making keen logical arguments for what they want to do and why their set of policies is better than their opponent's set of policies. They're faking their own kidnappings to give themselves the illusion of that privilege, and they'll hope that that wins. There's a woman in Sumter, South Carolina, 29 years old, Sabrina Belcher, who ran as not the candidate who believes this or that, not the candidate who's going to push for this or that policy. She fashioned herself, quote, the first black female candidate ever to run, which is something I don't care about. I don't care if she's the first female black candidate. I care about what she's going to do. Right? I mean, I don't live in Sumter, South Carolina, but if I were a citizen there, or if I were voting for a candidate in my own jurisdiction, I would care about what they are going to do, what they believe, what they represent is a matter of policy and politics. But that doesn't matter anymore. Now people are only running on identity and through identity, victimhood. So this woman was apparently assaulted and kidnapped by 34-year-old Christopher Eady. Take a listen to the video that for some reason, conspicuously and coincidentally, all of this was caught on video.
Get in the truck! Get in the truck!
I'm sorry. Please, I got kids.
Get in the truck!
I got kids.
Drive!
All right, looks like it's...
Stop this
Looks like
motherfucker
everything's
right
fine.
here, ratting off. Stop it! Tell you about what my motherfucking people.
Oh, he starts hitting her.
Huh?
Wow.
You want?
Oh gosh, this is getting even worse. This is some... She's so afraid. With Hollywood shut down, obviously someone's got to create content for the public, and I guess now it's mayoral candidates in Sumter, South Carolina, because every single second of that was completely faked. This woman planned it all out with Mr. Eady beforehand. This is not the first time we've seen this. This is just the latest in a line of actors, some professional, like Jussie Smollett walking through MAGA country in Chicago, and some amateur like Ms., what's her name? Belcher, like Ms. Belcher, who are putting on these kinds of performances because they see that the fastest way to political cachet, the fastest way to political change, is not by making honest arguments, it's by putting on dishonest performances. It's by tricking the public. It's through smoke and mirrors. Now, why is this? One, people are emotional, and if you play on people's emotions and appetites and hysteria, you're likely to get a reaction. But in the long run, what does that lead to? It leads to the collapse of your physical country that we can see all around us, and it leads to the collapse of your politics. Bill de Blasio was just asked in New York when the city is going to open back up, what the plan is. 15 days to slow the spread. Do you remember that? It was about 160 days ago at this point. And now it's, I don't know, when are we going to reopen? Maybe sometime in 2024 or something. I don't know. So de Blasio's asked, when are you going to open up indoor dining? At least, what is the plan? You know what his plan is? He has no plan.
There's not a context for indoor dining. We're never saying it's impossible, but we do not, based on what we've seen around the world, we do not have a plan for reopening indoor dining in the near term.
Of course they don't have a plan. They don't need a plan. They don't need to tell the American people what they're going to do because they have the right to rule. Because it's not even about Democrat or Republican or left or right. I mean, they do happen to be mostly Democrats. They do happen to be left-wing. But they feel, ultimately, that they are the ruling class. And they are. They are the ruling class. And they will make whatever decision they want. And they'll tell you whatever they think you need to hear to make it go down a little easier. But ultimately, they're going to do whatever they want to do. That is not democratic government. Blue check Twitter went crazy yesterday. Because President Trump announced, the Republican Party, it's not going to have a real platform this year. You know, the parties go to the conventions, they write these platforms, but it doesn't really matter because at least for the last, 100 or so years, the president and the presidential nominee is the platform. He is the leader of the party. This was also envisioned by Woodrow Wilson, that the president would become the leader of the party. So Trump says, okay, we're not going to waste time on this platform. I'm just going to give you my second-term agenda. And we can get into the second-term agenda a little bit later in the week. There's just one part that made the commentariat, the Twitterati, go crazy. And it was that he said, as part of his education plan, he's going to teach American exceptionalism. Very simple. This would have been not only non-controversial, this would have been understood, expected, until very recently. And the left went nuts. And a lot of teachers on Twitter said, I'm a teacher, I'm not teaching American exceptionalism. America's terrible. America's an awful place. What is American exceptionalism? Some people interpret this to mean that America's the single greatest perfect nation ever and it doesn't do anything wrong. That's not what American exceptionalism means. It means because of America's unique history and founding, it's different than other countries, which is obviously true. America is a country that was founded in a new world with very distinct, highly conscious political principles. In a period of time when people were focusing in on the mechanisms of government in a more abstracted way than many people had in the past. That is by definition true. What is an aspect of American exceptionalism? This focus on a particularly 18th century conception of liberty that does, in fact, draw on the ancients. This conception of liberty and self-government and how we rule our own country. That is American exceptionalism. And it should come as no surprise that the left laughs at it and mocks it. It's not just that the left, sort of hates the country and they're burning the American flag. They don't believe in this. And they have been saying, at least since Woodrow Wilson, that they want to get rid of that. They openly mock it. They say, if you read the writings of Wilson, he'll say, look, the American Constitution was founded on the principles of Isaac Newton. These kind of eternal laws that balance power against each other. But that's all BS. We've had a new scientific achievement. We've got Charles Darwin. And Charles Darwin shows us that nothing is objective. Everything is on a continuum. Everything is progressing and evolving. So we just need power, like an organism, to do whatever we want. Those are opposing views of America. It's why it's important to overturn and rewrite the history of America, and pull down the statues of America, and tear down what we would call the traditional American nation to enact that kind of politics. And most importantly, they've got to blot out democracy, Republican government, self-rule, because that presumes that people have enduring rights that aren't just going to go away as the organism evolves. That's what the left is trying to impose on us. Hey, Michael Knowles here, and the fact is, I have very expensive tastes. So please, be sure to subscribe to the Daily Wire on YouTube because I depend heavily on your support. Thank you very much.